What if I told you it only takes 10 minutes to write 1 month's worth of blog posts that sound exactly like you, helps you build trust with your readers, and helps you absolutely dominate Google's AI overviews, GPT search, and even Perplexity? Most people think that content equals authority, but it's the right type of content written in the right way that's ultimately going to help you rank and bring you leads from day one. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to generate 30 blog posts that are well structured and well researched and highly SEO optimized, even if you've never written a blog post in your life, how to make these blog posts sound exactly like you, because it's your unique voice and take on things that's ultimately going to help you rank, and how these blog posts will turn into qualified leads by positioning you as the topical authority figure within your niche. One of our community members, Will, using this approach, just closed a 6-figure deal, not with some cold calling strategy or some tricky funnel technique. Simply, and I quote, this is a screenshot of the post he did after he got the lead. The lady said she saw us all over Google, and since we were the first listing on Google, she trusted us. That is the power that this strategy can have. In this strategy, I'm going to show you this same process so you can do it, so you don't have to spend countless hours writing blog posts or spend thousands on agencies that are going to guess your tone of voice and ultimately aren't the subject matter expert in your niche. The tool we're going to be using is called machined.ai. Now, I've used this in previous videos, but they've recently done an update, Machine version 3, which helps you generate extremely high quality blog posts that's going to add a lot of value to your readers and make the blog sound like you. So you can create a free account with the link in the video description below. I'm going to sign in, and whilst you sign in, we also need one more asset, and that is your API key from OpenAI. I'll leave a detailed video with instructions on how to get that, but just to summarize quickly, you need to go to your platform from OpenAI, which is different from the normal GPT. We go to the dashboard and then click on the lock icon, and you'll see a section that you can create your new API key. You want to name it, for example, test for video, generate secret key, and we're going to save that. I've blurred this out for security purposes, but make sure you've got that saved. In your brand new machined.ai account, on the top right, we want to go to OpenAI key, and you want to place your API key there and hit finish. If you get some sort of error message saying insufficient funds or API key not recognized, you just need to wait 5 minutes. Make sure you've got some funds allocated in that playground for the OpenAI key and try again. You can even create a new API key and try that. Don't worry, it's not going to cost you anything to create a new key. And now we're set to go. Let's start writing our content cluster that's going to help us turn us into the topical authority figure within our niche. For this example, we're going to use Will's website, which is the guy we mentioned in the beginning. We know that he offers retirement planning services, and I know that he is in Arizona. So let's think about it that way. Let's create some content for him. Your account won't have any of this stuff here. I've been using it for a while, but what you want to do is create content. Now, I've got the paid version here, and trust me, it is well worth it. And you're going to think it is well worth it. You're going to create a project name. You don't have to do this, but it's really good to keep things organized. You can see that I've created a couple. I'm going to stick it under YouTube tutorial. And here is where we start creating our topic clusters and subclusters. You can see the example they've given us is to go dogs, Labrador, exercise, meaning we want to write a topic cluster of the best ways to exercise your Labrador dog, for example. So taking that same approach, you need to think of the cluster that you want to write about. If this is a bit too hard, and it can be when you're starting off, there's a custom GPT that will help you out for this. So I go to my community in the tools and applications. We've got custom community GPTs, and it's called the machined.ai topic cluster generator. It's going to take me to this GPT. And now you can either give it the URL of the website that you want to write about, or just say, I want to write about retirement strategies for families in Arizona. The more granular you get, or the more niche you get, the better the output will be. We're going to hit enter. It's going to think about this for a little while, and it's giving me some hierarchical topic clusters that we can place in that section of machined.ai. So let's go personal finance planning, retirement strategies, family-oriented retirement plans in Arizona. That seems very much well within what Will would want to write about. Now, if you don't like those niches and hierarchical topic clusters, tell it. But you're going to go back and forth and have a conversation until you're happy. You can't get too niche. Trust me, the more niche you get, the better. I'm going to go back to machined.ai and place that in there. The audience, again, you should know your audience better than anyone else. So I'm going to define the audience here by young families in Arizona looking to start planning their retirement, and that is it. I could get more granular, but for now, for this example, that's going to be more than okay. The language, well, we're writing in Arizona, meaning US English. There's a lot of languages here. I'm going to pick US. And here is the thing that you don't want to miss out. The AI engine, there's two choices. We want the V3, which is the latest update they've done to this amazing tool. If you know the keywords that you want to concentrate on, you can go to manual and you can input those keywords. But for now, I'm just going to go to autopilot and it'll do the keyword research for me. The region, of course, I'm going to change this to United States. If your region isn't in here, just go to global and it'll understand that. It helps though if you've determined where your customers live on in this section about your target audience. In this instance, I'm going to say United States. I'm going to go 30. I want a cluster of 30 blog posts. Now, it's doing some research. It's not actually writing the blog post yet because we want to input a couple of fields. After a couple of minutes, we have our clusters populating and are ready to go. We see here, this is the cluster that we input. And what it gives us is the keyword that we want to concentrate on for that specific blog post. And it gives us the title of the blog post. If we're not happy with the title, we can change it if we want. And if you want to delete any of these blog posts, you need to delete them now, not after you write them. Otherwise, you're going to have some backlinking issues. You have the volume, the competition, and the trend of that keyword. This will change drastically depending on the niche. I wouldn't worry about it too much. If you think that keyword is something that you want to focus on, just write it anyway. These are more like guidelines anyway. This is where it gets very, very interesting and really high quality. We can start determining the content type. Now, if I drop down on this one, which is family focused retirement planning in Arizona, what you need to know, I can generate this into an ultimate guide, an informational type blog post, a listicle, a roundup, a comparison, a tutorial. And if I have my own custom outline that I tend to write about, let's say I tend to review products or software in a certain way, that is where you can start to customize this. You put it in the Markdown editor and it'll do its thing. For now, I'm going to change a couple of things here. This one should be probably the ultimate guide. And I want to see if I want to change the rest here. Start today, ultimate guide, essential steps. And that should probably be listicles. So a list of the steps you want to do, so on and so forth. The rest I'll leave as is. Now, if we keep going down the tabs, we have custom brief. This is extremely powerful, and this is going to be one of the things that's going to differentiate your blog post and add more value to your blog post. By going custom brief, ideally, this is where you place in your experience, your information. There's the one time that I helped this family invest by not drinking 3 cups of coffee a day. A silly example, but you get the idea. If you go through and read all the titles and you add your experience in there, the quality of the blog post will be so much better and very niche to what only you can write. And that makes all the difference in this era of AI search engines. It doesn't have to be your experience as well. It can be, for example, add an FAQ section at the end, avoid tables, whatever way you want the AI to write in. That is where you place it. So for example, let's do a silly example here. We've taught a family to save for the retirement in 5 years by demonstrating that they don't need to pay for 6 cups of coffee a day. They can just make their own coffees. Horrible example, but I want you to see that it'll be mentioned in the blog post. I'm going to apply. The rest I can leave as defined. The length, people tend to really worry about this. I leave it on automatic. Because really, the length should be determined by the complexity of the blog post. The more complex the topic, the longer it should be. And I'm going to leave it to sort it out. Now, here's my favorite new bit about machined AI. If I go to author, I can change the voice, the tone of voice. This is the very important thing here. So I can see if I drop down, they already have some pre-built tone of voice. I've got the blogger, the minimalist, the professional, the coach, and I can even see how they've built it. The name and the prompt that they've used, which is, I think, very kind of them. They kind of gave you their intellectual property to use and duplicate. But you also get an understanding of how they build this. Now, my favorite bit is creating your own custom tone of voice, and they've made it so easy to do that. You can see that I've already made mine, Nico AI ranking. I'm going to show you how to create your own custom tone of voice. You click on that, you name it. So let's go financial advisor. And all you need to do is place up to 3 samples of content that you've written that sounds like you. This is where people struggle, because during my dealings and when we teach people to do this, I ask them, great, what is your tone of voice? And all they say is, friendly. And that's just not good enough. So I want you to remember or go through the blog post, LinkedIn content, anything you can think of that you've written that really sounds like you. In this instance, we're just going to use, for example, part of the website here. I've used LinkedIn posts before and it works fantastic, but you want to get something that ideally isn't AI written and place that in there. Of course, the more AI content that you place in there, the more it's going to sound like AI. I'm going to pick one other section here. Let's go to a blog post that is written before and find some more content that we can add. The more examples, the better. So this one here, for example, I'm going to pick a bit of the content, go back to machined.ai and place in there. Now you can see that by just doing one or two, I can already analyze. And if I click analyze, it'll start creating a tone of voice documentation that it's going to use. The good thing is that you can use that tone of voice document for other AI applications, GPT, Claude, whatever that might be. After a couple of minutes, we have our style guide. Comprehensive style guide for wealth management, retirement planning. It gets the tone of voice, informative, approachable. This all makes sense. If you don't agree with some of the style guide, change it. The more you change it, the more you make it custom to you, the better the output will be. In this instance, let's say I'm happy with that. I'm going to save it, it's validating it. And now in the authors, I should see financial advisor. I can go and edit it if I want to again, but let's leave it as it is. So I can change each blog post for different tones of voice if I want. Or if I want to keep everything the same, I go to the top one and I click financial advisor, and you can see the tone for everything has changed. The perspective, do what you would want, second person, first person, you and yours. I'm just going to leave it at second person. And you can see, because I've changed the tone of voice, some of the titles are already changing, which makes sense. Even the title should begin to represent the tone of voice. Now what we want to do is on the third tab here for research is extremely important. If we click here, it says automated. Our AI research agent runs a deep research, automatically finding relevant websites to extract relevant data. Now, if you want to make sure that some of your competitors are excluded because maybe you don't want to reference them, which is fair enough, this is where you place the URLs in them. For this instance, I'm not too worried, but the directed is really very much where I need to pay attention. And it says here, our research assistant can analyze the website that you define to extract relevant data. So here is where, particularly if I fall under a category that falls under your money, your life, which they do, you want to make sure that it's linking to the correct peer review article that is going to grab the right data. Or what you can also do is grab, for example, the blog post or the homepage for the business that you want to reference to make sure that it's even interlinking with the website. So I'm going to grab two here, go back to machined.ai. Perfect. And now all of the blog posts are going to read those content that you've provided. Now, something to keep in mind here. It's not going to force the AI to use the information and reference it. It's going to have a look at it. And if it makes sense for the AI to include that information in there, it will. But let's say I placed a blog post all about, I don't know, the new Samsung. It's going to read the information, but going to say this has no contextual relevance, so I'm not going to place it in there, just so you know. And then finally, the citations here, we're going to go in line, leave it all the same. And now I can go move on to images. This is the image sources, whether you want to use DALL-E 3 or Stability AI, even Pexels and Unsplash. I'm liking Stability AI, really high quality images. I can even change the style of all those images. For example, let's see, I want to go to digital cubism, for example. The interlinking, I will interlink this. I'm going to go opportunistic by default. And in the advanced section, I can change the model. Because we gave it our API key from OpenAI, obviously I only have access to models from OpenAI. Obviously, it goes without saying that the better the model, the better the outcome will be. However, the more expensive this will be. For example, if I want to write with 4.0 Mini, I can select all of that. If I have a certain structure for the heading style, I want it title, case, or sentence, I can do that there. But now we're kind of ready to go. So I'm going to select all the blog posts, and I can do that by clicking on this. And I can go to action and write all 30 articles. This isn't going to be instant. This is going to take a while because it needs to research on everything and it needs to do quite a few things. So now it's been a couple of minutes and some of the blog posts are already done. You can see by the ready symbol attached to the status. Here's the incredible thing. I can go now and not only read the blog post, but if I want to, I can edit it. And there's very few AI writing tools that won't only allow you to create the content at scale, but also amend it how you see fit. So this not only now sounds like me, but if I want to edit it a little bit to sound even more authentic, or I want to add something that I forgot to give it in a custom set of instructions, I can do that now. You can see that it's even internally linking. The orange links represent other links that it's linking to from the cluster of content that is attached to all the other blog posts within this cluster. And then the blue links are linking to the website that we're writing for. So this deals with two issues. It solves your internal linking to the blog post, adding a lot of value to this cluster, but it's also linking to other sections of the website that makes sense for us to do so. I can even change the meta description here and the feature image. And if I go to the research tab here, I can find out where it's getting all the research, which is my website or the website that we chose for it, and all the links as well that it's linking to. And you can see that it's not linking to every one of the other 29 articles in this content cluster, because that wouldn't make too much sense and it's over internally linking, but it's linking just the right amount, or what it deems the right amount should be. So if I want to change it, I can do that. Like, let's change this. I can do so very, very easily. It's a beautiful editor. If I go back now, I can see that some others are finished, and this is going to take all about 5 minutes. Now, once they're all ready, you can then select to publish to a CMS. Machined.ai has a native integration with Webflow and WordPress. So what I can do is I can publish to a CMS of choice. This is my website, for example, and I can publish it as a draft, which I would recommend, and I can publish it one at a time or all 30 in the one go. That's really up to you, depending on your publishing consistency of your current website. But this not only has allowed us to write 30 high quality blog posts that not only sound like us, have our experience and are optimized for SEO with internal and external linking. It solves a lot of the problems. And if I want to amend them, I can here on this platform. So now you have your 30 SEO optimized blog posts that sound like you and are going to help you generate traffic that turns into leads. But here's the thing. For a lot of the time, just writing and publishing the blog post isn't enough. Here's why the next crucial step that you need to take is go and watch this video where I give you 14 strategies that you can do to your blog posts after you publish them to increase the likelihood that they're going to get a lot of traffic, including getting indexed quicker and a bunch of other little tricks. So you should go watch that now to ensure that you make the most out of the blog post that we've just written.